Hey everyone, Chris here. I was going to answer Marshmallow McQueen's question, and it's just about the perfect time. So, I don't talk a whole lot about the specifics for my job. I've been trying to do more of it um, because it's not super applicable for most folks. Essentially, I work remote, full time, overtime, basically double time, and I spend way too much time at the nav desk with my laptop. Although I do try to do as much as I can on the iPad. And that's why a lot of the stuff I share on social media in general is a lot of me in cafes. So, what specifically do I do? Well, working remote and living on a sailboat has been an absolute dream of mine since the 1990s. So, it was a long runway. It took me about 30 years to actually make it happen. So, hopefully, nobody takes as long as I did. I, in my journey, ended up on a lot of side quests. One of the side quests was earning a doctorate in distance education. So, funny thing, when you hold a doctorate in distance education, a lot of people want you to teach online. So, I teach online. It's probably a little overkill for most people to go for a doctorate in something so they can teach online. There are a lot of other ways to teach online, but that's what I do. I am a professor. I run 2 different degree programs. I run a I don't know what my cat's doing. I run a bachelor's in hospitality management program, and I run a master's in instructional design and technology program. And then I have all the other university professor nonsense that you have to deal with. I'm on how many committees? I don't even know. Three committees, or is it 4? And then writing programs, writing classes, reviewing classes, all the normal stuff. But the one thing that's really wonderful about my job in particular is so much of it is whenever I put it in my schedule. So obviously, the individual times that I'm meeting with students is I'm meeting with students. It's the same as another meeting. So meeting with students, but pretty much everything else is whenever I get it done. So a lot of times I'll get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, especially in the summertime when there's a lot of sunlight. I'll get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and just start cranking through my work. And then, by 9:30, that's 5 hours of work already. And then we can go to a cafe, do a couple more hours worth of work, and then go to the library, do a couple more hours worth of work, come back home. Summers are bad. I work probably 10 or 11 hours a day, 7 days a week, while summer's going on, because that's the time that I work a lot better when the sky is blue and there's a lot of sunlight. So I like front load a lot of my work, because fall we migrate south. So I keep up with my work, but I'm pretty much only doing the 40 hours during the fall. And then winter, I do the same thing that I do in the summer. I just backload everything. We're usually tied to a dock and have unlimited electricity, so I'll just like crank through whatever we need to do. Again, work ahead so that in the spring when we migrate north, I can just slip back down to the 40 hours. But I've always loved a flexible schedule where I can, get up super early and then take the middle of the day off to go on an adventure, and then come back in the evening and work after dinner. But for a lot of people, that's not possible. And that's why, I mention my job so that people don't think I'm just like some rich old guy. I am working a lot. And but I'm more interested in sharing the stories of people who have more traditional jobs. Like I know a lady who, she lives on her boat, and she started as a waitress, and now I think she's a bartender, and she might even be like a shift supervisor at a restaurant. Like you can't get more ordinary than that. That's like so attainable for so many people. And then I know a bunch of musicians who live on their boats and work as musicians, full-time musicians, and they're able to do that because living on a boat costs so much less than living in a lot of these places. And one of the things that I've noticed is a lot of people will pick, you know, one place up north and one place down south, and they'll work the season because, you know, the summer season in up north and then the winter season down south. You can get, you know, 6-8 months of solid work in when you're like during the heavy season, especially if you're in hospitality, and then you can take those shoulder seasons off and use that to go back and forth. That's what my kids do. One of my sons is who works in restaurants, and the other son works on yachts. So they do that. They'll work in the restaurants in Florida. They'll work in restaurants in New England, and then the same all. So there are a bazillion ways to work remote and to work while you're sailing. Obviously, if you're working in the marine industry, it's pretty easy. If you're working online, even easier. Hospitality, again, is a great way to do it. And one of the things that came out of COVID was even if it's not as common as it was during COVID, we learned that every desk job can be done online. Do you want to be an accountant? Do you want to be a bookkeeper? Do you want to be an editor? Do you want to be a copywriter? Like all of these things can be done online, and so it's definitely doable. I would recommend to anyone and everyone, consider a way that you could move your job online in a way, or mobile in a way that that you can. My heavens, mobile in a way that you can roam around while doing it. Whether that's choosing different anchor spots where you'll work for a few months and then move to the other one, work for a few months, work back, and you can bounce back and forth. Or if you're able to have a job that you do regardless of where you physically are. Anyway, so that's more about my job. But unless you're already a professor, it's probably not really worth it to sort of go in that direction. But yeah, anyway, hope everyone's having a good day. Great question. So many different ways for people to work while nomadic. The whole digital nomad movement is huge. And yeah, lots of fun. Anyway, I will chat with you later. Bye.